Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, High PSI TV. I'm Jeff. This is the Buick. So today I'm going to put the transmission in the Buick, and I just wanted to make a quick little video. It is Memorial Day weekend. Hope everyone's having a good weekend. The weather here is kind of iffy. It's supposed to rain later on today. But I am going to get the trans back in this thing and take it up the road and make sure that everything is good in preparation for the YouTube call out, which is in less than a month. That is going to be June 23rd. Gates open at noon, Callout Motorsports Park. I'll put a link in the description below. Be sure you check it out. Come in and say hi to me. We'll have a good time down there. There's going to be a bunch of us hanging out. So anyway, I'm going to get this trans in, and then we're going to go goof around a little bit. Alright, so here's the torque converter. Got a little bit of fluid in it, letting the fluid soak down into it. You always want to put a little bit of fluid in your converter before you install it in the transmission. And here is the transmission, ready to go, I hope. So what they did was they put all new clutches and bands in here, a seal kit, new pump, gasket, filter, all that good stuff. And he said what had happened was 3-4 clutches went out, so we should be good to go on this now. Got the car in the air, and over here we have all the bolts to put it in. So we've got bell housing, trans mount, all that's trans mount. I don't know what that is. Torque converter, starter, drive shaft, trans mount again. So got everything we need right here except for that little guy, and I don't remember what it's for, but I'll figure it out when I get up in there. So I'm gonna start throwing this thing in, and hopefully I'll have it running here in about an hour. Alright, so I got all the bell housing bolts in, transmission's up here. What I'm going to do now is I'll put the trans cross member in with the trans mount, and then I'm going to work on my torque converter spacing and get that straightened out. The trans lines are on it. You can see they're up there. Starter's in, I got to pull that back down so I can do the torque converter bolts. And then I put a drive shaft in and a downpipe back on it, and that's it.
A few inches later.
Alright kids, so we have everything under the car done. We'll take a quick look. Oh no, my flashlight died. Uno momento. Backup flashlight. Alright, so the transmission's in, the converter is in and spaced properly. And trans lines are hooked up, vacuum lines hooked up, shifters hooked up. Drive shaft's in, Tommy's here, bearing gifts. The drive shaft loop is in, so I'm going to let it down real quick and fill it with some trans fluid and put the downpipe on it, and then we'll fire it up. Alright, so everything's hooked up, got the trans fluid in it. I'm going to fire it up real quick and run it through the gears. I got the AC on in the shop, so I'm going to try not to make this take a long time. But I just want to run it through the gears real quick, make sure that it shifts. And then I might just hang out in the AC, or maybe we'll go drive it. It's like 90 degrees out though. So, see what happens. Shall we? Alright guys, so went to start the car after I got the trans fluid in it, and the battery was dead. So I hooked the jump box up to it, and the jump box turns off like there's a dead short. So I start plugging around with the voltmeter, and I did something really dumb. I pinched one of the harnesses in between the engine block and the bell housing, which I've never done on this car before because the harnesses sit up pretty high. So I don't know how I pulled this off, but I definitely ruined this part of the harness. So I'll fix this tomorrow, and we'll close out the video then.
Day 2.
Alright, we are back out here in the shop. It is the next day, which is Sunday. Where I left off yesterday, I had to fix some wiring, but it was getting late and I wanted to try to enjoy myself a little bit. So went out, had some dinner, came home, slept. I actually slept in till like 9 o'clock this morning. It was horrible. Should have been up earlier. So it's like 10:30 now, just getting back at it. So I'm gonna start the wiring repairs on this, and hopefully that takes care of all the issues that I was having before I fired it back up. Things like this happen. It's unfortunate and it sucks. I wish I wouldn't have done it. I wish I'd have paid more attention, but now here we are fixing wiring. So I'm gonna get that done, and then we need to fire this thing up, make sure the trans fluid's good, and then take it down the street and make sure it shifts in all the gears. Alright, so we got the wiring fixed and it's tucked back behind the intake again. All the wires are on the positive lug on the firewall. Got about 9 quarts of transmission fluid in it, and this thing should hold 10 or 11. So unfortunately, it is now time to turn off the air conditioning and open the shop door so I can fire this thing up and run it through the gears. Once I do that, I'll check the trans fluid again, and that should be it really, as long as it doesn't leak. So I'll open the door, fire it up, and start checking fluids. Alright, so I've got 12 quarts in it right now. I'm going to let it get a little bit more temperature in it, check the fluid one more time, and I'll shut the car off, lift it up, make sure there's no leaks, make sure nothing's rubbing or pinched like I did once already, and I'll get it off the lift, and that'll be it. Alright, so I looked under the car, everything seems good, so now all I have to do is hop in it and take it down the road, make sure it shifts good. Shifted really firm on the lift, so no worries. So I'll hook up the GoPro and away we go. I've put about 10 miles on it. I'm not going to do any more today because it's already hot. I'm sweating and the windows are down. But we're good. I think we're all ready for the event next month. So don't forget, guys, to come see everyone at Callout Motorsports Park, June 23rd. RPM Motorsports, myself, John, Doc will have a bunch of cars down there. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.